And we are live. My name is Martin Hoxie. That's Cara. That's Charles. That's Alice.
Hey!
And we are totally unscripted.
Yeah!
Too much energy.
We're twinning times 4.
I think we're all still slightly delirious from Google Cloud.8 last week.
Am so delirious that my head's not even here.
You left your head in Vegas.
I know. It is. I did. I left my head in Vegas. I'm going to turn off. You guys can just see my green screen because I want to wear the hat. I love the hat. I had to go around and get like a lot of things scanned on my phone to get this hat. So
things you have to do for swag these days.
I know.
I know, they make you take a test for it now.
Well, I went at the end of the conference, so the vendors were just like, just scan it and go. I'm like, do you want to scan my badge? Like, no.
There's a little secret in the booth world. If you don't give it away, you have to bring it home.
That's right.
If you go around,
socks were so popular, there was no socks left by the time that I went around.
Yeah, so that's how you get it. That's how you get it. So overall, though, what did you guys think of the show? What did you? I mean, big. What did you guys think?
Given I'm from the UK, the number of people at the event is larger than the town I live in. Like, really.
I was gonna say I've been to your town, Martin. It's not that big.
No.
There's 30,000 people at the next conference. It's huge.
Yeah.
No, it is. And if you've never been to Vegas before, and Martin, that was your first time, right? That can
surreal.
Well, Charles screwed me up. Charles is this way on the Vegas thing because he told me I should put my money on green, and I told him he was a fool, and it came up green.
I don't give any more advice, but the other person, Allison, hey Allison, he came back money positive because she listens.
Really?
But anyway, Harold, what do you think?
There you go.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh man, I thought it was great. I was so excited to meet a lot of people. There was a lot of people. It was really cool to see a lot of the announcements. I did get a pair of socks, so sorry, Alice. I think I beat you to it.
I did get some Google Cloud Innovator socks at the Innovator Breakfast, so I'm not totally sockless.
Right. So just to prove that we're not one person using AI to actually host the show, there's a picture of us, right, where we're all together. For the very first time, as a cast, we've been together before, but first time as a cast, so you can see us out by our booth. You can see Martin, Kara, and I coming off stage at the end. I actually got to walk past Alice's session while in action and get a great picture of her modifying the formula. Can't wait to see a quick redo here in a second.
Yeah.
Then Kara's on stage blasting it to over 350 people, showing you how you get started. So the purpose of our show today, which I'm going to blast the title up, is to kind of take the totally unscripted version of this, where we can go off script, of course, talk a little longer. Sure, some things we couldn't. One of the things that bothered us getting on stage, Martin, Kara, and I, was they only gave us 45 minutes and they gave us a really cool topic.
It's like
it was a really cool topic.
And so we're going to skip our slides and go deeper in the content. Martin had to shoehorn into 3 minutes, well, 5, and he took 7, but Martin's actually going to show the demo.
Okay.
But Alice, your talk, first of all, when I walked past your talk, and I don't know how I missed it from the beginning, but I got to it in the middle, and you made the absolute best case for automating.
I did.
I have it on video. I shared it with you.
Okay.
When you run out of what things work out of the box, you talked about how do you actually script it yourself.
Yeah.
That said, and by the way, just folks tuning in, be prepared to fast forward or go along with us because we may go a little past our time today. But Alex, why don't you kick us off? Give us the foundation of what are some of the things you can do to get really grounded in bringing AI into Workspace.
Is that me doing my slide? Okay, it is me doing my slide. Right. So my topic
Hold
was
on. Hold on. Do
What
it.
happened?
Do
Yeah.
it.
Do
You
it.
do
Do
it.
it.
You do it.
I
I'm
have
gonna
a
do
slide
it
for that
and
because we're gonna
talk
let's
about
do it. I got it. Ta-da. No, let's do it. I have that. So for those of you who don't know the joke, I kind of go this little out of order, is that originally when I put in my session, it was Duet AI for Google Workspace. And then right before we go to next, they've changed it to Gemini, but honestly, no one was really quite sure. So I was chatting with the other champions, and Google Cloud champions, and they're like, I don't know, and it was a big debate. So I left my presentation the way I had it. Duet your data. So we're going to unleash AI insights in 15 minutes. I'm Alice Keeler, the queen of spreadsheets. Spreadsheets are the greatest invention ever, but doing manual data entry is not. That pretty much sucks. So ta-da, we can use Duet. No, back that up. Ta-da, we're going to use Gemini. And I love Gemini, and I cheat a little bit because I have the beta version, so I have advanced features that you're going to have to pay for. But I say completely worth it. I can't live without it. So let's do it. Thanks, guys. So if you have Workspace Labs, you can get Gemini in your sidebar, and you can say cool things like summarize my email and give me all of my emails that have a receipt, invoice, or bank statement. And then here's the mic drop. Can you put that on a table for me? Like, put this into a spreadsheet. So you can see it's actually reading my email and it's telling me how much my bills are. And so I don't have to do that manual data entry, which is huge because that makes my data more accurate. And while I'm waiting for it to put it in a spreadsheet, I'm drinking coffee or something. So I just like, there's the sidebar, and then you can go to gemini.google.com to actually get a little bit more powerful, because right now I think they're not the same version. I just love this little graphic. It's like, hey, I'm looking at your emails, I'm looking at your Google Drive, and it's able to summarize it. And you can see maybe on there that it has this export to Google Sheets button. That has to be easily the best invention of all times. Of course, I want it in a spreadsheet. And now that I have it in a spreadsheet, what am I going to do with it? Now, we're not going to talk about why I'm working on farm. In fact, I'm on a farm right now. That's why I have my green screen behind me. I'm in a farm office. So I'm working on a project where they have a lot of data. There's 30,000 acres. And it's just so overwhelming to like look at all of these different elements that are on the farm, how many acres, how much you've sprayed it, who owns this piece of dirt. But I have Gemini sidebar, right? So because I have Workspace Labs, I have the Gemini icon right in the sidebar. And I cannot tell you, it took about 10 seconds before this moved from nice to have to must have. Like, I cannot live without the Gemini sidebar. I now share all of my documents with my account that has this because I can't use my spreadsheets and things without it, because I can ask Gemini what I want to know. Create me a formula. Now, you guys, I'm really good with a spreadsheet, right? I can make my own formulas, but I can't make them as fast as Gemini can. So it just really helps me, even if it's like a simple count A right there, right? Equals unique. I can ask for it faster in plain language than I can type it out and get my data ranges. And because it's reading and looking at my data, it actually knows which columns I want without me having to be super explicit. So it's really cool. But then also it's a whole conversation, right? So it knows I'm talking about corn. It knows that I want a formula on this. And so then I can keep asking it without giving it the back information, that I can design my data info a lot faster. It's really cool. So you're able to just insert in formulas right in. Maybe you want to adjust them a little bit, but it's really quick and easy to use. So now that I have used Duet, no, I didn't. I used Gemini to extract data out of my Google Drive or out of my email, and I have this spreadsheet, and I've gotten some insights about my data in the sidebar. Let's go ahead and build a dashboard with Gemini, of course. So Now, what we're going to want to do to build a dashboard is usually want to have a different sheet, right? So I have my first sheet is now dashboard, and I have my data on this crop data tab. And what I noticed is that I'm still able to query Gemini, and it knows that I'm looking for information about that crop data. So I'm able to insert in those formulas on my dashboard to build this dashboard very quick and easy. There is a small caveat that it doesn't yet. I mean, if I could describe Gemini in one word, it's the word yet. It's just give it a hot second. Like, does it tomorrow? It will. It's just constantly getting better. So right now it doesn't do cell referencing to another sheet. So I do have to do that part manually, but that's easy to fix because I got this equals sum filter and I was able to do that a lot faster. So I get a list of what I want to visualize and then the data that I want to get for that. And of course, I can use the charts and graphs to build this data dashboard. And my new favorite thing that I've been using these days is slicers. Those are really awesome. So I can throw those into my dashboard and all that's really, really cool. But you can step it up with AppScript. So I'm able to get those charts, but what if I have a 30-acre farm? What if my data doesn't look awesome in a pie chart? What if I have something really special and unique? You all have a farm. You don't even know it. Maybe it's not a literal farm, but you are farmers of data and you have a special way and unique way that you want to merge them together. And what's really cool about Google Workspace is that AppScript lets spreadsheets and slides, actually all the products work together. So what I'm doing right now is the farmer is out in the farm collecting data on a Google form. I get those into Google Sheets, and then I'm pushing that into Google Slides, all using Google AppScript so that I can make this really cool map. Now you're thinking, Alice, how cool for you. I know that you are a Google developer expert for Google Workspace, and that means you're really awesome at coding AppScript, and you know what I am. But I actually don't code AppScript anymore. I don't code AppScript anymore because I just use Gemini. So you are all now, what?
Wait. This is a developer show. Are you telling me, and hold that thought, are there use cases where you would also like to extend it with functionality? That's not the show, by the way. But
we have extended our audience, Charles, because now literally everybody is a developer.
Ooh, I see what you just
did.
And farmers. And farmers.
And farmers. So I made all of these things where I want to, I want to make the maps. I'm going to send it to Google Slides. I'm going to create a Google Slides. I'm going to shade the county lines. I'm going to place the lines for the different territories and roads. I'm going to put down the corners because now here's something I learned from working on a farm. When you water it, it waters in a circle. So you plant different things on the corners. So I have to put down the corners because we're putting wheat on the corners, but corn in the center. So I got to put those on there. Some special shapes, and then we obviously water stuff. So there's some wells that I want to put on there. So I just put each of these circumstances. I'm like, I have some wells. How am I going to put this on my map? And so it generated a good chunk of this code for me. So I was literally able to generate this map, at least at a basic level, in one day. In one day, you guys, there's over 1,000 little bits on there. Yeah, it's taken me a few more days to refine it. But I can just add buttons to it. You don't even need to have somebody look at the code. I use Google Drawings. So I go to insert, I say insert a drawing, I create this button, and then you can assign the app script to the button. So your whole data dashboard now is super specialized with this code that you didn't even code or that you modified. But mostly I just do a good job of describing what I want to Gemini. And then it's going to send those visuals, the data from the spreadsheet over to Google Slides. And I have that really unique map that matches the data in real time. But what's cool about this also is it's Google Slides, right? So it's easy to share. It's easy to display. I can put it up on a TV or I can print it out. So here you can see that I put down the background. I push one button, it puts down the shading in the background. I push another button, it puts down the corners. Push another button, it puts down all the places that I plant some corn. All right, cool, but what if I change what I'm planting? So when I came in here, we were making this map by painting it with the paint can, which it takes a long time. And now what I literally do is I just highlight my column with the corn, plant, wheat, milo, whatever. And I just pick, okay, I'm going to plant everything to milo. Don't ask what that is. It's just purple. And then I push one button and ta-da, my whole map is now updated based on the data in my spreadsheet. So the magic sauce, I hope that I've convinced you that the answer to all of life's problems is not a spreadsheet, but rather Gemini using dashboards and app script. That's it. That's all I got.
And breathe.
Amazing.
Isn't that amazing? So first of all, obviously, you've always rocked spreadsheets in the past. It's upped your game in so many ways.
So many ways.
I mean, what would you say exponentially, 5 times faster? Like, what do you feel like you're gaining from actually, combining this software?
It's way more than 5 times faster. I mean, even just like I have where they go out and they say they're going to plant the west half of field 32. Well, that actually is like 5 different corners of dirt. And I need to separate all those out and get 7 pieces of information per section of dirt. And I need them to be in separate columns. So it comes in from Google Forms into a row. And I need to recognize that this piece of dirt is a group of pieces of dirt to insert 5 rows, separate it out with a split and transpose to get the other pieces of dirt listed out, and then get the information and all of the columns to be, some of it's exactly the same and some of it's specific to that piece of dirt. If I were to code that myself, it'd probably take me a couple of days because that was pretty complicated, those set of steps, and really unique. Like, who needs to do this? Me. No one else needs to do that. And it probably took me about the time it takes to go to the bathroom to make that work. So I just said, I think I can do that. And farmer left, he comes back. I'm like, it's working. I got it. It's just exponentially faster.
Do you have any prompt tips to actually refine it? Like, how do you, first of all,
thank you.
Yeah.
This is really, really important. If you ask Gemini to give you some code, it will give you some lovely Python, which I don't know. So it's very important that you say, in the current spreadsheet that I am using, in the current slides that I'm using, very important, because otherwise it'll generate a new spreadsheet or a new slides, and it just keeps making them, and you keep pushing run, you're like, it's broken, and now you have 50 slides in your Google Drive. And then you want to say using Google Apps Script. So in the current spreadsheet, using Google Apps Script, I want to do these things. And when I started making this presentation, this wouldn't work, but it works now, is I can take the link to the specific spreadsheet, drop that in there and say, summarize the data from this spreadsheet. Here's what I want to do with this data. And I say it in real language. It can read the tabs for me, and it can actually do a lot without me having to actually be in the spreadsheet itself, that it'll give me the code.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just going to do a shout out to Jesse for a second, who tuned in, and I'm sorry I put that on you. Jesse did this really great biopsy yesterday of the importance of prompts, and he showed a prompt evolve when he continually made the prompt better by asking the right questions. And you probably heard at the event last week where, our data science has already said like 27 words make up a good prompt. And so getting a prompt right, I'll get to that in a second more, getting a prompt right is super huge, but it's an evolution as well too. And knowing how to do it. So Martin just held something up, and I'll put up the slide for you. Sorry again, Allison, it covers you. Gemini for Google Workspace prompt guide. If you check it out on that link, it's actually a 45-ish page book that really helps you understand space environment. That also is not just using Gemini on the panel, but also will help you when you're actually doing some coded solutions like we're going to talk about in a second. So super neat things. Alice, anything else specific that you think?
Well, and it doesn't hurt to know a little bit, right? If you know enough to be dangerous, it's because the more that you can explain to it, like I want it in a loop, or I create me an array that does this, I'm going to get better outputs. But just being really specific about what you want and referencing what you want, but definitely tell it what you want it to code in.
I think as well, I find knowing where to ask it, and also, so as in Google for Workspace has the Gemini integration and then you have gemini.google.com. And knowing which one to go to can save you a bit of time. For AppScript stuff, I go to gemini.google.com. But the other, I think, real challenge
the
is...
sidebar will not do AppScript, just so you know. It won't.
The rate of pace in terms of change is so fast that...
Yet!
Something you thought wasn't possible one day is then possible the next day.
When I started asking prompts of slide app stuff a few months ago, it's like, what's a slide app? And now it's better. One thing I will say, and I do this a lot when
it made this map for me.
When I'm doing code snippets, and again, Alice, to your point, knowing a little. So for example, when I say I'm asking about arrays, I say in JavaScript, not AppScript.
Yeah.
Because there's just the LLMs have a larger corpus to go through for JavaScript, obviously, than AppScript. And so if I know it's generica enough to be, ECMA, JavaScript, then I'll ask it there. If it's specific to the spreadsheet or to something, I'll rephrase the question.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I do the same, especially for things like regex, which you'd think are generic.
Evil.
Gemini does an amazing job at regex.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really excited to see the Workspace Developer Summits coming back. Boston and Berlin.
Yeah, I don't have those screens up. In September, we'll be in Boston. We'll be in Berlin.
We'll put something in the show notes so people can register interest.
We'll be in I/O Extended in Berlin. We'll be in I/O proper up in Shoreline in about a month, actually like a month this week. And the neat thing is we're getting invited to the parties as Workspace developers, where that wasn't always the case. So folks that tuned in, thanks to folks from Stiegel and Uger and Brett and everybody else. Appreciate it. To the crew, Alice, Kara, thank you. Martin, take us out.
Happy scripting.